go for refuge and claim enlightenment to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, and the accumulation of merit and practicing generosity and so forth, and become a Buddha to benefit all the beings. בבודה, בדרמה ובקהילה העילאית, יש מקלט עד להערה. באמצעות המצבורים של התמרת הדרמה, בייחודיות כדי להועיל ליצורים לדמות. בבודה, בדרמה ובקהילה העילאית, יש מקלט עד להערה. באמצעות המצבורים של התמרת הדרמה, להשיג בודהיות כדי להועיל ליצורים לדמות. Heart Sutra, עמוד 6. תחווה לשלוש האבנים העיקרות הנעלות, כך שמעתי. פעם אחת ישב הבאגבן בהר פסגת הנשר באנג'גריה, יחד עם סנגה גדולה של נדירים בעלי הסמכה מלאה, סנגה גדולה של בודיסטווה. באותה עת היה הבאגבן שקוע בעיסוק מדיטטיבי של מניעת התופעות, וקרוי ברמה המקרא. כמו כן, באותה עת התבונן בבודיסטווה מהסטווה אחריה ובמשפע הרב העוצמה במעשה המעניק של שלמות החוכמה. להתבוננת בחמשת המצטרפים האלה כריקים מעצם סביבה. ואז, מכוח הבודה, אמר כך שהריפודרה נפרד ובריצת המעשת והאריה ולפשבר הרב העוצמה. כיצד יתאמן אותו בין השושלת הרוצה לעסוק במעשה המעניק של שלמות החוכמה. כשאמר זאת, השיב כך בריצת המעשת והאריה ולפשבר הרב העוצמה ושהריפודרה נפרד. שריפודרה. בין השושלת ובת השושלת הרוצים לעסוק במעשה המעמיק של שלמות החוכמה, התבוננו כך. התבוננו לחתום החשמש שמצטרפים להם כריקים מעצם סביבה. החומר ריק, הריקות היא חומר, אין ריקות מלבד חומר, ואין חומר מלבד ריקות. כמו כן תחושה, הכרה, גורמים מורכבים בתודעה ריקים. שריפותא, כך כל התופעות ריקות, נטולות מאפיינים, לא נוצרות, לא תוספות, נטולות זיונים, ולא התמרדות ולא התמרדות. שריפותא. לפיכך בריקות אין חומר, אין תחושה, אין הבחנה, אין גורמים מורכבים, אין תודעה. אין עין, אין אוזן, אין אף, אין לשון, אין גוף, אין תודעה מנטלית. אין חומר, אין צלילים, אין ריחות, אין טעמים, אין נושאים שוב, אין תופעות. אין מרכיבי עין, אין מרכיבי תודעה מנטלית, ועד למרכיבי התודעה המנטלית. אין בערות, אין הכחדת הבערות, ועד להתגלות במוות, ואין הכחדת הזאת במוות. כמו כן, אין סבל, מקור, התפסות ודרך. אין חוכמה נסגרת, אין השגה, ואף אין אי השגה. שריפותא, לפיכך, משום שאין השגה, ובמצב הזה שלמות החוכמה ששוהים בה. משום שבתודעתם אין מעגלים, אין בהם פחד. כשחלפו קלים בעבר השגוי, הם מגיעים לשלמות של החלוף ועבר הצער. כמו כן, להסתמך על שלמות החוכמה, הגיעו כל הבודות השכונים בשלושת הזרמים מבודדים ושלוש החיים, והערה שבה מלכת. לפיכך, אמרת שלמות החוכמה, אמרת הידיעה הכבירה, אמרת שאינה ממנה, אמרת המשתנה מה שאין שופט, אמרת המשתנה כלי שבא לכל הסבל, משום שיש לנו שכירה אמיתית. אמרת שלמות החוכמה נאמרת. תאייה, גתה, פרסנגתה ובודיסטווה. שריפותא, בבודיסטווה מעשת להתאמן כך בשלמות החוכמה המעמיקה. ואז יצא הבאגבן מהייצוג המדיטטיבי הזה, ונתן מילות שבח על בבודיסטווה מעשת והאריה ולפשבר הרב העוצמה. טוב מאוד, לשלשלת זה כך, ולשלשלת זה כך. יש לעסוק בשלמות החוכמה המעמיקה כפי שציינת, ואתה גדול וסוכמך. כשהעניק הבאגבן את עמידתו כך, זכות שריפותא נקבע, ובסתיו במעשת והאריה ולפשבר הרב העוצמה, הסובבים האלה כולם בצירוף הישויות השמיניות, הישויות השמיניות במחצה והגת הרבה, ששיפרו את שם הרבה הגת.
Good morning. Shanti Deva, in his Bodhisattva way of life, right in the beginning, he says, life is short. There are too many things to know. and we do not know how long we are going to live. Therefore, adopt or accept only those things which you really need. Just like swans extract milk from water. Which is very true.
So can you repeat the last sentence?
Just like swans extract milk from water. If you give, water mixed with milk to the swans, it is said they have a special capacity just to take the milk and leak the water. So like that, you just take those things which is necessary and not everything. So Shantideva came in the 8th century. Even at the time he was noticing that people were doing many things which is not so relevant to their life for their long time peace and happiness. Now imagine today. You see, so much distraction. And we call this age, we proudly call this age of information. And you are bombarded with all kinds of information. Unfortunately, much of the information is junk information. Even in your email box, you get junk mails. See? And the Buddha said, do not make your mind a dustbin. Your mind is not a garbage bin. If you keep on feeding your mind with bad information, you are making your mind a garbage bin. You want to make your mind a garbage bin? No. So life is short. There are too many things to know. And there is no need to know everything. People sometimes act as if they need to know everything. You don't need to know everything. You need to know those things which is absolutely essential and important to you. Because when we try to know everything, we are wasting so much energy, so much time, so much money, And I've seen in most of the developed countries, here I don't know, is in Israel. But in America or elsewhere in developed countries, every family has a letter box down there. Okay? So even if there's not much letter forthcoming, they'll always get this junk called newsletters or whatever you call it, advertisement, So there's nothing interesting coming, but still they have to open the junk, and then throw it. So it's just producing garbages, you see. So you can live, what he is really saying is, if you know how to live, you can live simpler, happier. If you remove many of these unnecessary things, you will be much happier, life will be cleaner, simpler, and save a lot of money. Now how much we have collected over the years. If you go back, this is one dharma work you can do. When you go back to your home, you check how many pairs of shoes you have now. I'm just studying from shoes. How many legs you have? Only 2. How many pairs of shoes you have? Legs, how many legs you have? How many pairs of shoes you have? I am sure we have many. Because we are bombarded with advertisement saying, oh, you must have this pair of shoes for jogging. You must have pair of shoes when you go to bathroom. You must have pair of shoes when you do sports. You must have pair of shoes when you do the mountain climbing. There may be some element of truth there, maybe some benefit, but not so much. So we believe that I need all this. So over the years you have collected so much, but many of these things that you have collected like rat, if you check, this is something you need to do. You need to do. You check how many things are there in your home which have been lying unused for so many years, but still your stingy mind could not part it, could not give it to others, because you always thought, maybe one day I'll need it. Maybe one day I'll need it. Maybe on the day when I die, I need it. To wear all the pairs of shoes together. So that's the problem, So all these things that you have collected did not come free. You paid money for those things, you see. But they are lying, they are unused. And when you have collected so many things, unused, that means a lot of headache. You need to, there's no space in the almirah cupboard to put things. On the day when you want to wear nice clothes, you are not finding it, you see. I put it somewhere. You don't find it, you see. So it's unnecessary headache. And most people don't have big rooms, big houses. So even that little house is filled with junks, So that's what I'm saying. Whatever you have collected, now you should make it a point to first use whatever you have. And with the food also. On the one hand, we say, I have not enough food and enough money, but the way we are eating, you see. Some years back when America was almost having a recession, almost, the market went down, they said, everything, price gone, things like that. When I went there, people in the restaurant, they were like eating half and throwing half. Then I said, how can you say you're having economic downturn? You're throwing money, throwing food like this, you see. That has almost become a culture. Everywhere you don't eat the food properly, You take something and then eat half and throw the half. Who is going to benefit from that? You see? So you put only that which you can eat. And then if you want more, you can go and get. Those things I don't have to say, that very well. But I'm simply saying we need to practice some of these simpler, smaller things which will make a huge difference in one's life. So life is short. There are not too many things, so many things we can do, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary. You can't afford to do this, because this is a golden opportunity. And you cannot waste this golden opportunity like that, you see. That's what I'm saying. It's a rare opportunity that you never got before. So are you going to waste this precious human life on small things, unnecessary, superficial ways of living? That's what he's saying. So therefore you should do those things which is really important for you, for others. And show the special feature of being a human being. A human being is said to excel, comparing to many other animals. How do we excel? Who is destroying the environment? Human beings. Who is polluting the rivers? Human beings. So we need to realize these wrong things and now start doing something, start a way of life which will clearly show that we are different from animals and birds. We have the capacity to do many things. So one of the best things you can do is cultivate these good minds, the bodhicitta, compassion, loving kindness, which other animals cannot do. Only human beings can do. Fighting, animals can also do, birds can also do. You see? Killing, they also do. Eating, they can also do. Having sex, they can also do. But cultivating a wish to become Buddha, cultivating loving kindness, cultivating compassion, these things only human beings can do. So therefore we need to make effort in these directions. And that is the way of making your life meaningful. Your visit on this planet meaningful. Okay? So now we read the third point. transforming adverse circumstances into the path to enlightenment. Transforming the adverse circumstances into the path to enlightenment. When the environment and the inhabitants overflow with unwholesomeness, transform adverse circumstances into the path to enlightenment. If you look at the natural resources, if you look at the environmental degradation, why do you think it is happening? Why pollution is happening? Why contamination is happening? The glaciers are melting, temperature increasing. We are everywhere, every part of the world now we are experiencing strange weathers, strange climates. Do you experience that here in Israel also?
Yes.
See? We do not need any logical proof. We are experiencing it. So why this is happening? Who is responsible? These are what we call as a law of karma. Human beings have lived in such a way. As a result, we have contributed towards this unhealthy weather, unhealthy climate. That's what he's saying. When the environment and its inhabitants overflow with unwholesomeness because of our unwholesome ways of life, you can see that unwholesomeness in the environment, in the nature, in the environment. And you can see that unwholesomeness, inhabitant means the human beings who live in the world. We see that among people. Now there are many areas in the world, all they do is just killing right in the morning. Day and night they think about shooting, killing, you know. Even in a relatively peaceful country, still there are a lot of bad things going on. Unwholesome things are going on. So we have polluted environment, contaminated environment, and we have very unruly sentient beings, particularly human beings. As a result, we the more and more experience trouble and sufferings. Okay? When I traveled with His Holiness some years back to the South American countries, in many of the talks that His Holiness, public talks that His Holiness the Dalai Lama gave, he said, the buildings are growing taller and taller. The character of people are becoming lower and lower. You see, it's like that, you see. It's like that. So as a result, we are all experiencing all these unhealthy experiences in terms of our experience with the climate, in terms of our experience with our relationship and so forth. So in this way, when the whole world and the people living in the world are full of sufferings, what should we do? What should we do? So therefore he is saying, transform adverse circumstances into the path to enlightenment. Don't get discouraged. You have also contributed to that unfortunate environment and life of people. So you also have the capacity to transform it. So transform that unfortunate sufferings, adverse circumstances into the path to enlightenment. And this you can do in two ways. You can do it through your thought, and you can do it through your action. In terms of the thinking and thought, it talks about cultivating the two kinds of mind, which we already discussed, conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. Now is it clear with you? These two is most important thing. Conventional bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta. The rest you may or may not understand, but these two are very, very important. The essence of this text and the essence of all the teachings of the Buddha. Conventional bodhicitta means Bodhicitta. You know bodhicitta? Most of you know bodhicitta?
Yes.
What is it? A wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So remember this. If you know this, you are very lucky, very fortunate. The next time you listen to somebody's talk, you will feel at home. Conventional bodhicitta means bodhicitta. And bodhicitta means the wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Wish to become Buddha means the only way you can really help sentient beings is if you get completely enlightened. Then you will be able to guide sentient beings properly because you know what they need right now, what they need in the long run, what they need tomorrow, day after tomorrow. He knows, he is able to see people's mind clearly, and therefore you will be able to guide. That's why even in ordinary level, we emphasize so much on education, knowledge. You see, if you have education, if you have knowledge, you can get wealth, you can get health, so many things. You're supposed to get health and wealth, if it's right education, you see. So to become Buddha means to get highly educated. That's the thing, you see. We are talking only that, you see. To get the highest level of knowledge. So the wish to become Buddha, not for his relaxation, but the wish to become Buddha to benefit all other suffering sentient beings. That's called bodhicitta. What's the definition of bodhicitta? Wish to become Buddha. No, sometimes we need to learn like small kids, you see. Really, this is my experience, you see. We are grown-up people, of course we know so many things, but sometimes we think we know, but we don't know, you know. And once you just clear one blockage, if you just know one thing, the bodhicitta is a big thing, you know. It's a big thing. You've really cleared the, road blockage. So next time when you hear bodhicitta, you feel at home. Really, that's the way. I used to learn like that. Not only Buddhism, but also when I was studying, I used to do that, you see. I used to make, and of course later on I knew how to learn things. If I'm reading one book, I read the first page very carefully. If there's a new word, I will make sure that I know this new word. So the first few pages take a long time. But if you are if you have studied this first few pages very clearly, then the more and more you read, it's easier because you already know the words, meaning and so many things. You see. So that's the way. So bodhicitta means wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. That's called bodhicitta or conventional bodhicitta. Clear? Now second is called ultimate bodhicitta. Ultimate bodhicitta means, actually it's not bodhicitta. It is the wisdom, understanding emptiness. That's called ultimate bodhicitta. Wisdom, understanding, emptiness. So just like in a classroom, after some time I'll make one of you get up and say, what is ultimate bodhicitta? Answer. With a stick in my hand. So ultimate bodhicitta is wisdom, understanding or realizing emptiness. Emptiness means the ultimate mode of things, the ultimate way things exist. So that is what we are talking here in this text called 7-point mind training. We are talking about cultivating these two minds, bodhicitta, the wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, and ultimate bodhicitta, which is wisdom, realizing emptiness. Clear? Now, the next question is, why do we need to know these two guys? That's the crucial point. We already touched a little bit, but we need to know why do we need to know these two things. These two, the conventional bodhicitta or bodhicitta and the ultimate bodhicitta, these are the two instruments, two weapons, which you will use to fight against two enemies. What are the two enemies?
Ignorant.
Huh?
Is ignorant?
Huh?
Ignorant.
Exactly. Yeah. The ignorance is enemy of both, but which one primarily?
The second one.
Second one, exactly. Wisdom, understanding, emptiness. And the enemy, the main enemy of bodhicitta is Self-cherishing attitude. Wonderful. So the enemy, the man, there are so many enemies, of course. But the generals, the commanders, generals who are responsible for all other destruction is these two. Self-cherishing attitude and self-grasping, which is also called ignorance. Self-cherishing attitude and self-grasping mind. Clear? Self-cherishing attitude means thinking only about oneself and completely ignoring and neglecting the well-being of others. Okay? So in order to replace this bad journal by a good journal, we are inviting a good journal, bodhicitta. The bad journal, self-cherishing attitude has been very, very destructive. So we decided to dethrone him and elect a new journal called bodhicitta. Okay, so these two are like almost like counter forces. That is to say that until now we have been always focused and obsessed with one's own well-being, forgetting about well-being of others. As a result, look at the environment. As a result, look at what is happening in the rest of the world, in every level. Because everybody was obsessed with his own things. And people don't care whether the environment is destroyed, water is polluted, you know. For example, everybody wants clean water to drink in their room, but hardly anybody thinks from where the water is coming. How clean the source of the water? How many of us work to do those things, you see? Everybody wants clean water in the room, but how can you get clean water in the room when the very source of the water is polluted because of your behavior, because of your throwing plastics around, you know, chemicals, you know, around, things like that, you see? So therefore it is again clearly because of self-cherishing attitude. Okay? So therefore this now must be replaced by a very strong sense of universal responsibility, which is the mind which thinks about benefiting all sentient beings to get the highest level, Buddhahood, to benefit all sentient beings. It's not talking about benefiting the Tibetans only, benefiting the Israelis only. It's talking about it's not even talking about benefiting human beings alone. It's talking about benefiting all sentient beings. Isn't that great to develop such a mind? Now why we have such a strong self-cherishing attitude? Because you have self-grasping. What is self-grasping? Self-grasping, here self-grasping, primarily when we say self is not very much talking about oneself, but self here means something that is existing independently, inherently. Existing independently, inherently. And as we have already discussed, there is nothing whatsoever, external phenomena, internal phenomena, external environment, internal sentient beings, whatsoever, anything that is existing has dependent existence and do not have independent existence. But to our ordinary unquestioning mind, right now if I ask you, then you will say, oh yeah, everything is interdependent. But that is not how we react in our daily life. In our daily life, we like something, then we think it is beautiful, 100% beautiful. When we don't like something, we say 100% negative, you see. So you are able to see only in black and white terms. There's no middle thing. Okay? Good, 100% good. Bad, 100% bad. And because of this, you develop either excessive attachment or excessive hatred and disliking. 100% negative. So, excessive disliking. 100% beautiful, good. Therefore, excessive attachment, excessive obsession. So therefore,